What's going on? You are listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well, and all that jazz. Finally got like a so part of the reason here in the Philippines that it rains is because there's typhoons that create the rain and the clouds and everything. So a lot of times, like we're not hit directly by the typhoon, but we're getting the rain. So I've been waiting. I did pressure washed my father-in-law's house because algae builds up around here with the rain, and when it's dry, it's fine, but when it rains, man, it gets really slick. So you got to pressure wash to get all that stuff off, and it's a lot harder when it's not raining. Like because I did his house when it was kind of dry, and so it's like it took so much longer to pressure wash it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait for when it's raining to do our house because our house needs it bad, and we got a long driveway. Because when it rains, it kind of gets everything wet, and it gets obviously, and it just brings everything out and kind of like loosens it all up so you can pressure wash it so much easier. So it is raining now, and it's supposed to rain all day. So as soon as I'm done with this, that's kind of what my plan is just go out there in a pair of swim trunks and just barefoot and everything and just pressure wash the area around my house. Good times. Still don't have the extension for it though. It sucks. It'll come out a little easier because, like I said, because of the rain. But but yeah, it's almost something you have to do annually. I didn't do it last year, but I did the year before. But yeah, I guess get some vinegar. Could get some vinegar and spray it all over and probably get rid of some of it, I guess. But then that doesn't quite clean it as well. It looks so much better, though, after you pressure wash it. And plus, honestly, if it didn't matter if it was easy or hard or not with the rain, but because we have well water, so you have to have water going constantly. The hose just turn on a little bit to fill up for the pressure washer. Because we don't do I don't hook the hose up to the pressure washer because we have well water, so I don't want to clog up. So it's just, it has like a hose that has like a little filter thing put in a bucket and stuff. So it's the same thing. It just helps keep the pressure washer from getting, because even though we have like a filtration system in our water, it's still stuff gets through and calcium deposits and all that kind of stuff. One of these days. See, that's the thing is like I've talked about before is we had some like little water heaters for our showers that worked kind of like a Keurig, it just like immediately heats up the water, and then you get, I don't know but you kind of heat it as it would go. So you fill up the water and then hold it for a minute, heat it up, and then it spits it out, I guess. I don't know. Just a little thing. It was kind of crazy, but it worked great for a while, but over time it just starts to kind of clog up, it doesn't work right, and so it was like we're like boiling water and then putting it into our shower, our little bucket, doing the Filipino thing. And so sometimes, it's not a big deal, but sometimes I miss having like a hot shower. I have hot water and stuff, but it's not, it's not the same. We don't use as much water, which is good. But like I said, it's well water, so we're not paying for it. But the goal is, though, once we get a good filtration system, which we'd have to have larger filters, plus, what do you call it? Water softener and all that kind of stuff, then we can get like an actual water heater, and then get like probably a dishwasher, stuff like that. We can't do that because we don't have city water here, because we're kind of out in the farm area.
and the well water is just it's well water. It's kind of how it is. But but yeah, so that's all. That's all that's going on with me. I wanted to talk about Shane Gillis, the comedian. I'm sure a lot of you know. Some of you don't know. He's a big Down syndrome looking white guy who's pretty funny. He was hired on SNL like right at the beginning of I think COVID. I think it was 2020ish, somewhere around there. I think so. But he was doing podcasts and everything like that, and he made like some joke that wasn't even. It was like nothing compared to even some of the jokes he did at the ESPYS recently. But then you had people, oh, we don't want him on it. So then he ended up getting fired, but it's fine because he's huge now. He's, popular as ever, and SNL sucks. So, I think it was a good thing, even if he got on, he probably wouldn't be there still now anyway. So SNL just doesn't hold the same weight it used to, But I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm not going to play. I don't, show clips and stuff. Sorry. I'm lazy. But if you haven't seen it, get on YouTube and look up the ESPYs Shane Gillis monologue. It's pretty good. It's good because there's some good jokes on there. But what makes it better is like a lot of the crowd just are, Shane Gillis he's not right wing or anything like that, but he pokes fun at everything, and he's definitely not liberal. You know what I mean? So, and ESPN, very liberal, the ESPYs, and a lot of whatever kind of you could argue are, but they went out of their comfort zone. So whoever that was in charge of the ESPYs that hired Shane Gillis did a good job and is smart, because nobody watches the ESPYs. Nobody even knows what, you don't even know who the host was last year, the year before, nobody, you don't ever hear about the ESPYs. Nobody gives a shit, right? You don't give a shit about the awards that that the retarded left celebrities and stuff throw for themselves to make themselves feel better because they're pieces of trash. Nobody cares. So the only reason people knew that the ESPYs even happened is because of the clip of Shane Gillis doing his monologue. My hand is itching. But yeah, it was so whoever hired him, good job. I think that's pretty cool. It's going back a step in the right direction, right? Instead of just coddling everybody. And there's a lot of, and you can see it's you got to watch it. It's funny because, like I said, it's funny because it's almost like for that crowd, he almost bombed in a sense. You know what I mean? You got people laughing, but it's not the whole crowd. You just some people who, who have a sense of humor. But then you have a lot of, people that are like, oh my God, did he just say that? Oh my, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's actually what's almost more entertaining, is just you see the left part of the crowd just like, oh my gosh, did he say that? And I think that's hilarious. I think it's funny. And he pokes fun at the people there. He does, because he's introducing, he's like, hey, we got so-and-so in the crowd. And dude, I haven't, man, since coming here to the Philippines, I don't know. I know who, like, Simone Biles, is that her name? I know who she is, the gold medalist. I know who Caitlin Clark. I know, but like, I haven't watched football. I don't even know like who the quarterback for the Steelers is. I don't know. I don't even know who the quarterback for my team is, because I don't know the name. I just checked out. And it's easy for me because it's not on TV and on the, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not around here because I'm over here. The only thing that's big over here is basketball. So, but, so, you know, I can't really, you know, say anything much. But the joke, the whole thing, the reason I'm talking about this is, so he's introducing people. And like I said, some of them I know, most of them I don't know. It's like, oh, we got so-and-so in the house and blah, 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 this and that. And then he's like, hey, he names a name and, you know, WNBA, whatever, this and that. And everybody's cheering and it shows, you know, they put the camera on her and they're clapping and woo. And he's like, haha, that's actually the wife of my friend. She's not an NWA player. You know, I'm not surprised, you know, you guys don't know any NWA players. You know, it just makes everybody look like a fool, you know. Because it's true, you know, they're trying to make it like, oh my gosh, the NBA, but nobody watches the NWA. And the only reason they are now is because of Caitlin Clark, you know. But I thought that was funny. And then his Epstein joke was pretty good. Again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Don't let me destroy all the good ones, and don't listen to what I have to say. Go watch it. Because it's pretty funny. And then he's like, we had an Epstein joke here, but I guess it got deleted, or maybe it deleted itself. And he's like, I guess, yeah, you know, I guess it's not a big deal. We'll just move on. It's pretty funny, I thought. Something I'm tearing it. I'm ruining the joke, so you need to go watch it. What was the other one? Oh, then when he's talking about the soccer lesbian chick that had pink hair. Damn, what was her name? Ramon? No. Dang, what was her name? But he was like, so and so's not here. She's like the really angry lesbian, short-haired, you know, chick that was on the American soccer team or the U.S. But he's like, oh, she's not here, so that's good. And then people are like, oh, he's like, oh, well, we're just gonna pretend she's a good time, you know, because it is. She's fucking a horrible person. You know what I mean? But because she's a woman and she's lesbian and she's in sports, you have to, like, you know, suck her dick, you know? Oh, she's brave and all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, she's a terrible person. She's a bitch. She's a cunt, whatever you want to call her, you know? And see, that's kind of the thing about the left, dude. Well, hold on, before I get to that. And then he makes some jokes about Trump, which were funny, but there was more of it was a story, and he was just kind of poking a little fun at Trump. But you know, if he would have said something that was totally like attacking Trump, then everybody would have been like, yeah. But no, but so this is why. This is one of the things why the left is failing at a lot of things. And I mean, look at, you have Stephen Colbert, The Late Show, has been canceled because nobody watches it because he's trash and it's all bullshit trash. And then like YouTube channels, right? People that review. So, okay, you know what I'm talking about with the people who were like, oh my gosh, they don't want to laugh at the expense of somebody that is like, the left, how do I say this? Like, they don't they don't like to laugh at other people. And it's not like, you know, they're so hung up on the whole bullying and making whatever, but it's like they're jokes, they're comedians, that's their jobs. So everybody can be made fun of to an extent. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you make a joke as somebody that's in their group or whatever, they don't want to laugh. I mean, if it's, you know, a Republican, Trump, whatever, this and that, and then they'll laugh all day long, right? Even if it's not even funny. But it's like if you're poking fun at other people, like what was her name? Maroon? I don't know. The lesbian soccer lady, but because she's a lesbian and left wing and that, they can't laugh at that. And that's why the left is failing though, because they're not genuine. You know what I mean? They're not honest. They're just not. And that goes with like, movies and like a big thing right now is like Superman, right? The Superman film, which I haven't seen, but I've watched people talk about it, break down the movie, spoilers and everything, because I'm not going to watch it. It's not for me. So I don't care if it's, and just the clips I've seen and from what I heard, I'm like, God, it just doesn't look good. But then they'll be like, oh my gosh, it's so great. It's so great. You have people that will, movies that are shit, they'll still be like, oh, well, we try and find the good in it. We don't want to, it's like, no, if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter what it's about, who wrote it, whatever, But like, there's always like this weird agenda. And I don't know. I mean, it kind of goes back the other way too. There's, what's his name? There's a YouTuber that I used to watch. Benny Johnson, I guess, who is very political. I mean, I quit. I'm kind of cutting out my political channels. But I stopped watching this guy because like he would be like, oh, breaking news, this and this. And you're like, oh, what's going on? And then you watch it and it's just like, it's nothing. It's like, what? He just kept like, oh, maybe he meant that he said this, but this is what he meant. I'm like, no, that's not. How do you get that from that? Like, what? It just, no. So I was just like, got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm done watching this guy. And he kind of seems like he's a propagandist for Trump. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want that either. I don't want people to I just want to know the facts. What's going on, And this whole thing about certain, oh, this is what's happening. And then you watch the video and you're like, what? Nothing has changed. What are you talking about? And so it's just, So both sides do it, but the left is really bad about it right now, just because they're kind of declining, like Stephen Colbert. But then he's still got like another year. The show's not going to be canceled for like another year, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know. I just find that kind of weird. I mean, it's like the end of the TV, whatever, but it's almost like they do that so maybe people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want it to fail. So then more people will watch it and save it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's why. I like it when they're like, oh, this isn't doing any good, so we got rid of it. It's gone. No more. What is that buzzing? Oh, it's just because it's not level. But yeah, so I mean, the left, if, unless you're attacking Trump or meat or masculinity or something, they're not going to laugh. You know what I mean? It's just insane. And then people that are like, that say like, oh my gosh, like Shane Gillis isn't funny. It's like, well, then you are not funny. You know what I mean? Then you don't like jokes. You don't have a sense of humor then. You know what I mean? I'm not saying all of his jokes were pure gold. I mean, a lot of it had to do with where he was at, which made it better. And they were actually kind of tame. I'm sure it's, because he's not writing them all. And they have to go through, somebody's going to be like, no, we're not saying that. Or yeah, that's okay. Or whatever. But it's just like, like the Superman movie. From day one, it did not look interesting to me. The first picture, the first shot of what his uniform looked like, I was like, I don't like that. And then the first shot of this, and then it was like, and then the first trailer, I was just like, man, no, it doesn't look good to me. I don't care to watch it. And then just every time more information or more whatever would come out, I wanted to see it less and less. And now I'm just like, there's no, you know. And before, so many years ago, I would have felt like I was missing out. Oh man, but now I'm like, I don't care. But and some people like it, and that's fine to say like I enjoyed it because of whatever this and that. But what's annoying is like when people are just like, "Oh my god, it's the greatest movie of all time. It's so great," but like they're overly compensating. They're trying to because it's and I think it's because Superman is like not the goat, but one of the goats of masculinity. You know what I mean? And they totally took that out. Superman. Superman gets his ass kicked the whole time. Everybody disrespects him. And it's just...
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this. And you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So, hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. So it's like poking fun at that whole masculinity thing. And so, of course, people want to like hoop and holler and say they love it and everything. And I mean, I don't know. Is there some people that really think it's the greatest? Yeah, I'm sure. But I think there's a lot of people, especially in the whole sphere of, reviewing movies and stuff that are kind of like, that are lying a little bit. The thing is, though, everything that I've seen about this movie, it just looks like it's not going to have any kind of gravitas. That's not the right word. It's not going to have any lasting, like it won't be, I hate to say it because that's what I keep seeing everywhere, like, ooh, we want to be iconic. It's not going to be iconic. It's just going to be like Superman Returns. It was all right. It came and went. Nobody really, I liked it when I was younger, but yeah, I haven't watched it now. Yeah, it's not that good now. It was good at the time, but now it's like, it's not going to hold any kind of water. I think Man of Steel still does because it's very cinematic. The score, the cinematography, and everything is much, much better. And and I get why people don't like some things about it. Like you have the comic book people that don't like a certain whatever. But overall, they like the film. They like it better than the new one. People that used to hate on Man of Steel like it better than this new one. You know what I mean? And it's like the other people that don't like it is because of it was more masculine. Honestly, Man of Steel, which I guess no, Man of Steel didn't have Lex Luthor. He came in with Batman versus Superman, huh? Man of Steel. The only things what's the actress that played Lois Lane? I think she's attractive, and I like her as an actress. Yeah, I don't think she's the greatest Lois Lane, but she's not. She's all right, The only thing that really kind of bugged me about Man of Steel, the whole universe that Zack Snyder did, I didn't like what's his face as Lex Luthor. This guy, who's the new Lex Luthor in the new movie, looks better. I wish he would have been in the Batman versus Superman. But the only thing I didn't really like about Man of Steel was when Superman is fighting Zod and Zod loses his little face helmet thingy, and then he starts feeling the effects and all that kind of stuff. Why didn't Superman get at him right then and there? Because he knows what he's going through. He went through that as a teenager. So he knows he's disoriented and he can't, do whatever. That's the prime time to freaking go after him. It's like, so that always kind of bugged me. I'm like, man, that's when, rip that shit off. Get on, beat the hell out of him. That's your time. But then he doesn't. And then he gets away. And then all of a sudden now he can have, laser eyes and all that. I mean, it's like it needed to happen for the story, I guess. But so that was the only thing that really kind of bugged me about Man of Steel. And then, yeah, I guess, what's his face? Henry Cavill, his Clark Kent wasn't, I mean, it just looked like Superman with glasses on, like literally, you know what I mean? But I mean, that whole shtick is kind of stupid anyway. You comb your hair a little bit different, you put glasses on and they can't recognize you. And that's always been a joke, But yeah, I mean, I never liked the whole, oh, gee golly, Lois, I don't know, acting like a retard so that people don't mistake him for Superman. But I think Henry Cavill could have done something a little different. Like they could have done a little something to kind of, but not make him like the goofy doofus that he is in like the original Superman movies. That was the thing I hated about Superman or Clark Kent and everything. I don't know. I just, man, I guess because, man, it's just, Superman thing is just everywhere. But it's looking like it's not, it's looking like it's going to make less, adjusted for inflation and everything, it's going to make less money than the Man of Steel. So it kind of makes you wonder what's going to happen. Because, I mean, Man of Steel was pretty damn good. Made a lot of money. But then it was like, they were just, Warner Brothers, everybody like, and that's the thing too, is like a lot of people attack Zack Snyder. Yeah, I mean, he does the slow motion thing. I get that. But it's like, but his movies are very masculine. You know what I mean? It's men that are manly. You know what I mean? And so then you have left kind of people that don't like the movies, and that's why. But the shit. What was I? I was trying to say something. Every time. Every time it works 30% of the time. Or how's that go? It works 30% of the time, every time. I don't know. Anyway. Dang it. Zack Snyder. Oh, yeah. So that's where they messed up with the whole, I'm already at 27 minutes, so I gotta hurry up. They did Man of Steel, and then they went right to Batman versus Superman. And then they did Wonder Woman, and then they did Justice League. Like, and it's because, I mean, I'm sure Zack Snyder wanted to get there eventually, but I think the movie studios, and unless I'm mistaken that I did read this somewhere, but they were really just trying to push to get, so they could get up to Avengers and get, they wanted to get that Avenger money in. Instead of building the foundation first, they just wanted to get right to the, the penthouse. Does that make sense? But it's like, if they would have did Man of Steel, then maybe even Man of Steel 2, then did Wonder Woman, and then a Batman with Ben Affleck, and then maybe even Man of Steel 3. He could have done Man of Steel 3, but then did Justice League, and then did Man of Steel 3. It would have been, I think it would have been so much better. And that's another reason why, like, people who they call the Snyder Bros or whatever, like, they're like, oh, once that movie's over, it's no longer here. There's the new one, so get over it. The reason people can't get over it is because they didn't get a complete trilogy. If people would have got a Man of Steel trilogy that showed, a complete arc for Henry Cavill's Superman, then people would be fine. They wouldn't care about this new one, whatever. Hey, we got our Man of Steel trilogy, so I'm good. But because Warner Brothers sucks and don't know what the hell they're doing, they just drop the ball on that one. You know what I mean? But yeah, then people wouldn't care as much, like if we'd gotten You had the Dark Knight, right? But you had the trilogy. A lot of people didn't like the third one. I liked the third one. I liked all of them really, but you had closure, because you had all three. Okay, and that's over. And then all of a sudden they're doing Batman versus Superman. You're like, man, they're already doing another Batman. It was kind of shocking for me. I was like, God, they just got done with the Dark Knight, and now they're doing another. They're rebooting Batman again. I was like, okay, whatever. I guess it was like I was surprised, but it wasn't a big deal because you know, we had that trilogy. But since Man of Steel never got that, that's why people kind of are still up in arms. It's like, man, if we could just have that Man of Steel trilogy, then we wouldn't care. We wouldn't care if you made Superman gay because we wouldn't watch it. We wouldn't care. It's like, we would like because there is, that movie was made a lot of money. A lot of people like Man of Steel, and you can't say that they don't. And if they would have made it a trilogy, then, and then when you look at the way the new Superman movie is, I think they're like, damn it, maybe we should have. I think they might be kind of regretting it a little bit. Because the new one just looks like a TV show. It looks, and people are like, oh, it's so comic accurate and this and that. And I'm like, if I want a comic book, I'll read a fucking comic book. I want a film, a cinematic version of the comic book. You know what I mean? I don't want a comic book come to life. I mean, me personally, that's what. Yes, I want things. I don't know, but I'm kind of on the other spectrum, or whatever. I don't like the Superman underwear on the outside, and all. Like I always thought that was hokey. Like I said before, I was not a fan of Superman until Man of Steel. And even then, I'm still not like this huge. I don't have Superman shirts, and I don't collect anything Superman. I like Batman and stuff. But anyway, that's it. Yeah, I've been talking for too long. So, appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time, and God bless. All right, bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.